everything is based on influence, which, if I could summarize influence for all of you, is not necessarily the hack. And I know a lot of us are looking for hacks in life. If I could sell you on anything right now, is to truly decide today that becoming a person of influence is really the biggest value that you could ever have, not just learning how to influence somebody in that one moment, that one place. Once you start understanding the lens that I'm going to be giving you here today, you're going to walk into every setting that you have from this day forward. How do I get that person where I need them to be? Like, I'll give you guys an example. How many of you have trouble hiring the right people? Anybody have that? That's influence. How many of you would like to keep the right people? Influence. How many of you are married? Influence, okay? It doesn't really matter. We're dealing with influence as long as a person is involved. So what I'm going to tell you is really, really pay attention to the basic things today and take some notes, jot some stuff down. A couple things I'm going to tell you how to work best with me before I get into the material is there's a few things that are super important that you'll want to do is, number one is you're going to want to listen a little differently than you normally do. And the biggest reason why I'm going to have you guys listen a little bit differently than normal is the way that I'm going to use words is not set to be grammatically correct. Like, if I could help any of you here today is to understand there's grammatically correct, like there's the English school teacher way, and then there's something called shit that works. Okay, and I want to be really clear. There's grammatically correct with periods, and then if I could teach all of you how to remove periods from your videos, you're going to realize after about 46 seconds of shooting a video where you had no periods in one run-on sentence, you're going to realize this is what happens to a human being's mind. And if I could show you this in the next little bit, this is what's going to happen to their mind. They're going to go from, yeah, whatever, and they're waiting for the period. They're waiting for the period. They're waiting for the end of the sentence, and then eventually they're going to go. And a lot of you think you might not want somebody there, but that's direct access to their unconscious mind. And I'm going to show all of you that when you're working with somebody, there's a moment where you can work with them where instantly we can break the patterns that they have inside of themselves. So part of today is to really set the framework for tomorrow and to give you guys the goods is I want to give you guys the basis box that I'm going to teach you. And this box that I'm going to share with you is the 4 ways that human beings make decisions. Because at the end of the day, like this whole thing, decide and do, we use that to motivate people to make decisions and do the things they want to do. But at the end of the day, isn't that all we want our client to do, or our prospect? Decide and do something with it. You know, you're on my website right now, make a freaking decision. Make a decision, either leave the page or move forward on the page, do something. You're watching my video, decide to pay attention to this. You're in a presentation, you decide and do something. But this is the weakest skill of all human beings, is the ability to actually make a decision. So part of this is our desire to get people to overcome that. So while I'm working to break your patterns today, I have the same issue with you in this room as you have with your customers and your possible prospects. And the reason is the way that you do what you do, the way that you do the thing that you do it automatically. Like I'm up against today, just so all of you can understand this, and this may be, like, you may not get the concept of this up front, but how many of you are in the seminar business? Raise your hand, seminars. Okay, how many of you speak? Anybody speak? Okay, you're up against how they did it last time, every time. Like when you enter in a new relationship with somebody, you're up against how they did it before, and our job is to break how they did it before so we can get them to do something different, which is actually a new decision. Like, so if you're in the franchise world and you want to introduce somebody to a new idea, they're bringing their job mentality, they're bringing the traditional business mentality, and they're bringing it to franchise. So part of the biggest challenge in the franchise world is to actually break somebody of the actual habit they have of how they run a business, that you do not do it that way, you do it this way. And if you want to succeed, we have to learn how to do that. So there's literally a place for influence everywhere. So part of this, I want to be really careful, is listen to the language. So what I do, and this is just for me sake, I don't want to tell any of you guys what to do, but this is dealing with me. At one point, you may want to have a separate sheet of paper, how I'm doing what I'm doing, like maybe even split it down the center. This side is like the shit that I said. Over here, how I said it or what I did, because there's what I'm saying, which may work next time. How I did it will work every time. So one of the ways that I learned how to do this stuff is I would literally split the page down the center, or have a separate sheet like on this book, how you do it, what you say. How you do it, what you say. When you mirror the two, it's magic, okay? So first thing is listen. Second is pay attention to your emotions. Pay attention to how what I say makes you feel. I'm going to be pushing you guys a little bit. And what I mean by push is I'm going to say things in very specific ways. And some of the ways that I'm going to say them are like different than what you normally would feel. And you're going to feel something. certain words like will jar you, different stuff. Our job is to really maneuver people's emotions, maneuver them. And I don't mean getting them to think about their dog or their cat or their kids or stuff like that. Is literally to maneuver their emotions a little bit and massage them in a way that they wind up where you want them to be at the end of the funnel, whatever it is we're doing. And the funnel may be a physical funnel that we're building. It could also be a one-on-one conversation at a Starbucks where you're sitting down with somebody and you're showing them what's going on. So I don't know exactly what everybody does. And the third is, and this is really, really big, this is an intensive. This is, I like to treat this, we could do this one of two ways. We can treat this like that annoying, how many of you have got a traffic ticket before? Anybody? I've never said, I hate that. On a Sunday, you have to go sit there in that freaking class. How many of you know what I'm talking about? And now I'm a business guy, so I'm looking at this class going, how many of these are going on right now? He said, well, in Phoenix from Photo Radar, we do about 300 of these a weekend. It's 100 people in my class. 3,000 people a weekend are paying $400 to go to this class. And I started thinking, I want to get into that business. That Photo Radar thing is some seriously good money. So instead of us paying a fortune for our tags out here, which is, we pay $1,000 for our tags, but our property tax is low, the ticket rate's high. So there's a ticket on every corner. So if you're driving out here, watch the red light, and they time those things, they change them. It's either 2.5 seconds or 3.5, depending on the day, and you get used to it because you live there, and you get a photo slapped. And that is I think they did last year, I think it was $2.1 billion in tickets. And the people go to the class, they're usually hungover the night before because they got a DUI and then they're drunk the next day. And they show up at these classes and they sit there like this. But me, I started asking questions. I wanted to know how this thing worked. I was watching the guy. I wanted to figure this out. I wanted to run one of these things. So if you want to get engaged with me, ask questions. In this very room, I mean, I charge a fortune for a one-on-one day, more than you pay for the year of War Room. And right in this room, and those people ask a lot of questions. So if you have questions, like speak up while you're here, you get it as a bonus for what it is we're doing. So listen. Pay attention to how what I say makes you feel. And the third thing is to get engaged, ask questions. And let me get into the material today, and then I'm going to draw this out for all of you. And then here's the way I typically work. I'm going to teach something, and then I'm going to ask a question, and then I'm going to help somebody actually with that thing in their business, and then we're all going to turn and stare at them, okay, while I'm helping that one person. But while I'm helping that one person with their business, it's going to help everybody else with theirs. Everybody cool? All right, so influence, intensive. Flip to the next slide. So simple ways to get anyone's attention, get your point across, sell more in less time, and truly become a person of influence. Roland taught me how to write a title. Okay, before I was just going to call it the Influence Intensive. And he said, you've got to make certain that it gives people what it is they need to do. So it draws their direction to where they're doing. So if I could do this, this would be super important for me. What I was going to have all of you do in advance, this would be super easy, is take a minute right now and really think about this question. If you were more influential, if you could walk into any setting, let me show you the power of this for a second. And my wife doesn't always love this story when I share this, but I figured it'd be appropriate to share right now. My daughter, 2 years ago, came to me, and you know this because you've seen me negotiate, okay? It's cost you some money, didn't it? Okay? I negotiated, I got him how much did you want to pay him at the end? How much do you want to pay him for that at the end? Okay, we'll talk about that later. Okay, and my daughter, what happened is, my wife comes up to her and goes, what do you want for Christmas? And she's 5 years old at the time, and she goes, she can't really spell or anything. She goes, how do you spell puppy? And I said, we spell it with, we don't get a puppy. We're not getting a puppy. Not a chance we're getting a puppy. No way we're getting a puppy. We're not getting a puppy. I've already had a puppy. We're not getting a puppy. I know what it's like. What happens at the end of the puppy? How many of you know what happens? It dies. And the shit's not fun for anybody. I'm not being negative, but we're not getting a puppy. Not only is it shed and we don't have time, and that was me being negative, but then I'm like, okay, well, we get it. But if I travel, it costs me, like, I pay for War Room, and then I also pay for my puppy to go to, the place, and they give the dog ice cream, and then it's like, they upsell you. It's like, oh, do you want it to actually get out of the cage today? $10 to board it, $600 to let it breathe. So I'm like, we're not getting a dog. Maya, we're not getting a dog. We're not getting a dog. We're not getting a dog. So she puts puppy on her door. She figures out how to spell it, P-U-P-Y, and she puts it on her door, and she wants a puppy. And I said, Maya, can you put something else down? Barbie Dream House, the ice machine that I never got, the snow cone maker. Put something down except for puppy on that sheet. She goes, I want a puppy. I said, we're not getting a puppy. She's stubborn like we are, I guess. And I said, Maya, we're not getting one. She goes, but Daddy, you didn't ask me. why I want a puppy. I said, Maya, why do you want a puppy? She goes, well, you know, after school sometimes where you're still at work and I'm getting home and I'm either with my sister or I'm with the nanny, I won't be alone anymore. I bought a puppy 5 minutes later. I paid $2,000 for a little Amish man over in Pennsylvania a week before Christmas to fly a puppy in that was sight unseen from a puppy mill. You know what I mean? And it looked like it was the greatest puppy in the world. But how many of you understand the power that's influence? You get it? She got me. Like there was no way around that one. She literally got me. And why she got me was she used a few words that made a difference. And what's funny is none of it's true. She's not really alone. But she got me to think she was. And I went, oh my God, that would be horrible. So she tied into my own abandonment issues, which I don't even have. And instantly, I'm spending money on something I don't even want. That's not even called influence, that's called manipulation. Okay? That's a whole nother point of the game. So what I'd like all of you to do before we get started is to think about this. If you could influence another person or learn an influence strategy, what would you want to use it for? Like if you could just take a minute and jot this down before we get started. This is called, just so all of you know, any of you that do events, having people set their outcome up front is very, very important. And the reason it's important that people set this up front is, one is you give people a target. I'm also, just because I'm being completely transparent, breaking your current target before you got here. Some of you, your target was, let me see what happens. Let me see what shows up today. My desire is to actually get it where you pick what it is you want and get really good at pick what you want, go get what you want. Pick what you want, go get what you want. So I'll give you a couple minutes. If you were more influential than you currently are, what would you use it for? And then I'll teach you guys what influence is. Okay, you guys want to jot that down? What is influence? What do you want? What do you want to become? What do you want to use it for? How do you want to use it? You walk out of here, what do you want to do with it? Who's got an idea? Anybody? Let's practice using our vocal cords, okay? So this is called a microphone. And if you could speak into it, it'd be great. So my job, just so all of you know, how I get this to work for me is if you actually all get what it is you want, it worked. How many of you understand that? Like literally you tell me what you want and I just do it, which is really important. How many of you think that that would be good for business? Like I sit down in a meeting with somebody, I find out what they want. The other day I was doing a hiring thing with a guy on the phone. A guy calls me up to work with us. And I told him how great the company is, da-da-da-da-da. I did this whole thing. And at the end, I'm like, holy crap, I never asked the guy what he wanted. I broke my own rule. How much smarter would it have been to, you tell me what you want out of a job? Wouldn't it be a totally different spin on everything? Tell me what you want, and I'll see if I can get it for you. And then when you write up the contract, you reverse engineer the whole thing, and you give them what they wanted, and they think you're the greatest person in the world, but most people don't do that. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have 4, actually.
You're greedy.
I am.
4? Okay.
So I need to win the governorship of Texas 6 years from today, sell my business for $25 million 2 years prior to that.
Okay.
Sell.
What about like Tuesday, like tomorrow? How do you want to influence people tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I want to sell $5 million of my new training system paid
Tomorrow?
up front. No, but
Okay.
that's actually, we want to do 1 million by December 31st and 5 within 2 years.
Okay.
And then get clients to pay retainer or upfront, not net 30 or 60, which is our industry standard.
How many of you want to get out of that 30 and 60 and get people to pay up front? Do you guys like that better? I have a technique for that. I'll teach you guys if you're interested. Make sure to bring that up and I'll share with you how to do that. Anybody else have anything they want?
So the first thing would be to help our mastermind clients get better results. We're dealing with a lot of beliefs, and when they come into it, helping them change, like shift their identity. So helping our mastermind clients. And then the other thing is to help working with business owners and being a better negotiator with business owners that are thinking about selling. So those are the 2.
Negotiating is huge. How many of you suck at negotiating? We need to stop that.
I'd like to double my business in the next 16 months.
Okay.
I've got a plan to do it, but I think that becoming more influential and persuasive would make it easier.
Yeah, because you got to get your team on board. Like, do you understand, how many of you have done a build-out before? You guys ever done a build-out for a building or anything, or a house? Sucks. We had to use every influence strategy in the world to get the people to actually show up. And then we influenced this one guy, like, hey, you need to get us like 5, like this building when we bought this. You need to get your drywall people out here. And I think he got his mother to come out. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't get anybody to do it. But everything that you're doing, you're dealing with the ability to push people quicker or get people to get what you want. So that's big. Anybody else have anything they want? Or maybe you guys are in the wrong room. You got one, Jason? This just gives me what I need. This is just helpful for me. Go ahead, Jason.
I think getting exceptional at videos would affect all areas of our business.
Okay.
Just keep it simple to that one thing, videos.
Videos? Do you mean the content or comfortable on the video?
Both.
Okay, because those are two totally different things. How many of you realize that you could miss that? You could literally, those are two. Did anybody see what I just did? Most people don't clarify with people, and they don't ask a very simple question. Clarification is a big part of influence. I will tell all of you that most of you do not clarify people's definitions, and I'll talk about that tomorrow. Somebody says, I want to be successful. The first thing you need to ask them almost immediately is, what is your definition of success? Most people don't even have any idea what it is. It's some random stuff in their brain. So when he says, I want to get good at videos, quickly by asking a question, I mean, I'm just telling you, this fits for all businesses. Is everybody catching the hack there? Instantly you find out their strategy. Do you mean delivering on the videos or actually doing the videos? And then his brain goes, I never thought of that before. The second somebody says, I never thought of that before, and they're looking at you, you instantly become the genius. How many of you understand that? You want to drug people. And what I mean by drug people is we've got all kinds of drugs in our brain, dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin. So what happens is when you have a person, this is how I teach, it's going to happen randomly like this. I have a projection of what we're going to do, but a lot of you want a linear way of learning. I will tell all of you, no one learns linearly. None of you could learn how to catch a baseball linearly. So what happens is somebody throws it at you, you either get hit in the head, and you say, I'll never do that again, I'll pay attention next time, or you catch it randomly, and you always will do your best when you're not paying attention. Okay, when you're not thinking about it. When you're trying to get it, you're running your trying to get it program. So to answer his question, when one of your teammates goes, I'm having trouble with this, well, what exactly is this? The second you split it for somebody, sales is hard. Which part? Calling the person, asking for the sale, or finding someone to talk to? The second you split the thing up, they go, I've never thought of that before. And whenever they say never thought of it that before, their brain goes, I don't know what to do. And what are they doing? They're staring at you at that moment. Any of you that are familiar with NLP or hypnotic language patterns, you're putting somebody into a trance state. By putting someone into an altered state, their brain says, this is new, what shall I do? So when you're on a website, like I'll give you all an example of this, and this is just random thought. How many of you remember those Thrasher movies from the 80s? Remember like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th? They always have a sex scene, and then the murderer. I just want to be very clear, they do this on purpose. Sex scene, you're like, oh, okay. And then murderer. Because if you just murder someone and there's no sex scene, what happens is it's not as powerful. So our job is to actually create those two differences and to create those two different things. So what we're looking to do is to create that idea of one emotion, then quickly another emotion. When you go between emotions with people, what happens is you grab their attention in a very, very powerful way. So anybody else have anything they want to get out of this? And then I'm real clear. You can go.
I want to get better at influencing my target businesses that I'm trying to acquire.
Okay, so give me an example of that.
I'd like to buy companies with Roland's no money type of approach, and or get them to vendor finance, and haven't been able to do that. So
okay, so what's your traditional approach? You walk up to someone and go, "Hey, can I buy your company?"
No, I mean, we've JV'd with businesses before, but yeah, I want to.
How's the JVing thing working?
Very good.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
So you JV with them, but what do you want to do?
I want to own more than just a minority shareholding.
What would be the benefit?
Well, the revenue and control.
What's the benefit for them?
If we're calling the shots, we can grow their business faster than they can.
Do you see how uncomfortable you just got when I asked you that question? Did you see how uncomfortable you just got when I asked you that question?
No, yeah.
So you're really good at what you're getting out of it.
Yeah.
As soon as you tell them what they're going to get out of it, you become like a different person.
Okay.
There's a problem. So if I'm going to work with you, I'm like, dude, this guy's totally on when knowing what he wants, but he's helping me get what I want, I get uncomfortable. We need to change that. So part of influence is changing the way that you communicate it. It isn't just the words you say, it's how you're showing up.
Yeah.
Did you feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the part that we need to articulate with you, is that you need to not do that. So by the end of this weekend, we're going to have to trigger that, or not weekend, it's weekday. So the end of tomorrow, we need to articulate that you're going to shift that perspective. Because 90% of this is how you show up and actually what they feel when they experience you. So they're going to feel something. You're like, you're not like, look, I know nothing about what you do. Here's the true benefit. You know that feeling you get where you just have no ability to do the things that you really want to do because you're busy working all the time? and you can't take your family and do the things that you want to do, I don't look at it as we're partnering. I just want to make your life easier. And if making your life easier has a number attached, we all pay our merchant account fee because it's 3 or 4% because we have to. Could you guys imagine cashing all those checks? How annoying that would be. Imagine the old days. Like the old days in Amway, people used to stock their garage full of product, if anyone was Amway back in the 60s and 70s. And then, did you do Amway? And then people would show up with cash, buy stuff from you, and you have to take the cash down to your bank. Like, you guys remember like taking your change and everything down to the bank? It's annoying. We pay that merchant account fee because it's worth it. I want to find something for you like it's worth it. Like that merchant account fee is worth it. You pay it every month. I want to be like that with you. See, that's something I understand. That's something I already get. You see, you're drooling right now. You're getting this, right? So when you position something with something that somebody understands, if I've never sold a business before to anybody or partnered with anybody, then what happens is I don't have any recollection of how to do it. I have no neural pathway to figure that out. But I have paid merchant account fees every month, and I don't enjoy it, but it's worth it. Does everybody understand this? You want to associate with things that people already understand so they can make a decision based on what they already do instead of trying to explain things in the way that you want to explain them. If you have to talk about Sesame Street to get someone to buy, we'll talk about Sesame Street. If you've got to talk about Snuffleupagus and Eeyore, if that works, you just talk about that shit. Do you understand? It's whatever works. So influence is really code for whatever works to get you what you want and get them what they want. Okay, everybody got it? Okay, so let's go to the next slide, Deborah.
Michael, can
Yep.
I ask a follow-up question to what you just said?
Yeah.
When you were saying, is it this part of video or that part of video?
Yep. This is what she's doing right now, Pamela. This is like absolutely will make this event work. Okay, go ahead.
So the thing that I have a question about is there are some people who will stop and go, oh, that's a really good question, or they have the self-awareness to be observing the question at the moment, and they're going to react to that question. I find people all the time who just answer the questions. And
Give me an
that doesn't-
example of what you mean exactly. Put me in a scenario.
So if somebody's saying, like, Pamela, I just want to grow my business, which I hear all the time, right?
What is your first thing you say back to them?
I would say, tell me what it looks like that you actually want to create.
Okay.
And, tell me about the money, tell me about the time, tell me about,
Okay. So what they're going to tell you is what they already think it should be or what you want to hear. What you want to get is a different question. So say it again. So I say, what do you want to get out of this? Everybody catch what I'm about to do right now because this is big. Say the thing again.
So you mean the question
Yeah.
that I would ask? So I would say,
No,
you
tell me
said
what
the-
they say.
oh, they said, I want to build my business.
Great. So what I would turn around is and say, I would say something that would be very different. So if you'd say, great, what do you mean by that? And then they're going to tell you your list. Make $5 million, 85 million, scale it to this, sell it to this, all this crap in their head that's been there already. We want new thoughts that they've never had before, radically new thoughts. So you could say, great, what is your definition of a growing business? Do you see the question? Then it makes them, what are they going to say?
Yeah, that does create a completely different emotion.
It creates confusion.
Right.
And confusion is the gateway to a new idea.
It feels like you're taking them out of emotion, though, because as
Totally,
soon as you say
I
definition,
totally want them out of what she did. Because
Okay.
your recipe for what I would call chargeback, or recipe for canceling 3 days later, that they're going to buy into the same high they already knew before. You want to take them out of where they're at. What is your definition of successful business? And then they're going to say, I don't exactly know. Well, great, that's where we start.
Okay, got it.
Do you see what I just did? Now you're the coach of coaches. Now you're the leader of leaders. You just Yoda'd them. Do you understand? We want to Yoda these people. We want to hit them with something that they've never experienced before. Okay? Do you get that?
How did you go from what I said to what you said?
What made me say that?
It's a small tweak between, it's a critical tweak, I get it. But
Yes.
how did you know? Can you take me through the process of the difference between?
Okay. So somebody says to you what? What do they say exactly?
So they
Deborah, they
say,
can raise that if they want.
I want to grow my business.
Say, great. In order to grow your business, my first question is, what is your definition of a growing business? And they're going to do that. They're going to look up like that, and anyone that understands, they're not going to know exactly what to say, and they're not going to have an answer. We do not want them to have an answer for a question like that. The reason is they're going to go into your 4 things. I mean, how many of you are sick and tired of people saying, "Oh, I want to make 6 figures, I want to make 7 figures, I just want to scale my business, I want to have a funnel." It's like like if any of you, any of you agencies here, like the second someone says they have a funnel, it's like, dude, we just need to never use that word again. Do you want a funnel? And they hand them a friggin' funnel. They don't want a funnel. What you'd like is a predictable business. You want to change the word on them. The reason is you want to zap them with something different they expect. So that's part of influence, is redirecting somebody. So what's cool is that you're like 5 slides ahead, which I love, which is really good. Okay, everybody catching this? So careful, and you guys can take breaks anytime you want. I don't recommend it, and do what you want, just because you never know when that type of stuff's going to come up. Okay, yes. I haven't even gotten to the presentation, but go ahead. You could do 7 or 8, but I'd like to hit them with 1. But here's the thing. If you go 5 deep, I get to the 5th like immediately. We just cut all the other crap out. Okay?
So on a video where you don't have the ability to have a one-on-one conversation.
You do have the ability. Here's where you have the ability. And this is where I want you to uncover everything that I'm saying right now, is in a video you could say, "Hi, my name is Pamela. And as a business strategist for years, one of the things that I've recognized is everyone wants to grow their business. And of course you want to grow your business. There's a million reasons to grow your business. Financial freedom, having a new car, being able to take your kids to Disneyland, all the things they want to do. And all of those things matter. But what's most important is to really uncover the most important thing of all, is to really think, what is your definition of a growing business? Because if we understand what your definition is, we can hit it on a regular basis. Do you see what I just did? I did the same technique. So when I do video, I'm actually having both conversations. I'm actually having the one with them that they're having out loud. Are you catching this? And some of you are going to be wondering, why does he keep on saying, am I catching this? Well, if you program your brain to say, are you getting this, or are you catching this, it makes people say, yes, I am catching this, or I am getting this. Got it? Even got it. See, what I'm looking for is this. Got it. And this is just one of those things that I've trained myself to do. So, okay, so anything else, questions? And just ask, like there's no rudeness, like, yes, you're rude, but go ahead. I'm totally kidding, give her a microphone.
So if I often in my business predict where the conversation's going to go, because everybody thinks what they're telling me is like, it's the first time I'm hearing it, and I'm sure this happens with you.
Now, can I just stop real quick? And I'm not being rude. I want everyone to pay attention and really get this. This is like advanced, what I'm going to do right now, but I think this is the advanced influence stuff. She is telling us what's already happening in her world, that's happening inside of her brain currently. She left the room to have a conversation that's already occurred in her life. And she's telling us a story. She's grabbing a file of what's already occurred. This is what we're dealing with when we're influencing and selling all the time. Predetermined thoughts and ideas that are already sitting inside of a human being's brain. Our job is to alter that. So if she wants a change, we have to do something different than this. Go ahead.
Okay. I cannot even tell you how uncomfortable I am right now. So
I'll take you, listen, I'll take you uncomfortable any day of the week and get you what you want.
I appreciate
versus,
that.
I mean, Deanna could have got up here and said, let me introduce you to Michael Burnoff. When I first met him, he got me to jump out of an airplane. Literally, that's the story.
Yeah.
Airplane led to someone she met, which led eventually to meeting this group, and she's here now.
No, that's awesome. I know this is what I need. So, but I have the same conversation probably sometimes 3 times a day. You know.
Tell me the conversation.
Hi, I can't get any capital for my business. I'd like you to tell me how to get capital for my business. Here's what I'm doing. Blah, blah,
Are you
blah,
a capital
blah.
person?
Yes.
Okay. And so what do you say to them?
I generally say, I try to move the conversation along because I've already heard the conversation before.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, okay, I totally understand what you're trying to do. I've been there before. I've done a lot of these. So here's the next step. Here's what you want to do next. And then, I just kind of take them through their entire process. But I don't know if I really ask for clarification. I know that's the step.
Where does the hang up happen? It sounds like you're the money girl and you could just get me money and you're wonderful and I'll get you all the paperwork and it'll be done. Is it that easy?
It's not that easy.
Okay. You need to tell me it's not that easy. You could say, because there's a lot that gets involved, correct?
There's a lot that gets
So
involved.
do you know the biggest reason why most people never refinance, even if they're at a 7% interest rate on their house, they don't refinance to a 2% or 3% when they can get it? Do you know the biggest reason why?
Because it's a pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass. So we're going to balance between the pain in the ass of me getting you what you need and you getting me what I need to get you what you need, and your business working. So if I could explain to you how our company works, our job is to guide you through that process as effectively and efficiently as possible, because that's all we're dealing with. Yes, we can find a way to get you the money if it's available. Correct?
Right.
Did I just streamline the whole thing?
Right.
Our biggest challenge is navigating our relationship with you getting me what I need in a timely manner.
Right. And that is, I mean,
Do you say that outright?
I say that pretty much to that extent. And then I have another thing where I go, but I'm going to try to make it as easy as possible for you to get me that information. And
Great.
here's how we do it, and this is why we're different than the competition.
So what's the question?
I forgot. I am not, I remember what it was now. Okay, so, I don't know what kind of voodoo tricks you're playing right now, but please stop.
Probably a lot.
I hear this whole thing about the conversation that you're having out loud, so you confuse them and then...
Let me be clear. I don't really, don't walk out here going, oh, Mike, you're just going to confuse people. That's not the answer.
No, I know.
What I mean by is I take them off the path they were on and I put them the one I want them to be on.
Okay, okay.
You can say stop for a minute. Like with our financial people, anyone in the financial world here? Okay. Our financial people we worked with, just stop a minute. I just want to tell you, we're not financial planners. We're like financial coaches, and we want to guide you. So we're actually not going to take your money for the first 90 days, nor you're going to have to sell us on why we should take your money, because we have a lot of people we can work with. Flip the script on me.
Okay.
So instead of me questioning them, they started questioning me.
Okay. Do I want them questioning me? I want the conversation to be as short as possible.
You can tell them that. Just you could say point blank, do you want the money or not?
Yeah. Okay.
If you want the money, I can get you the money.
Right. Well,
The
I
re-
don't, well, okay.
Well, can you?
Well, it's a little more complicated than that. So.
Well, from Jersey, there's a guy.
It's not it's just not, I'm more of the conduit so that you can get the money, and I have several different ways to get that done.
Okay, so what's the question exactly?
Well, this is going back to what you were talking about before, that you're having the conversation that you're having with them out loud, only you're doing both sides of the conversation. Yep. So you're saying, for example, you sales are hard, and then so what is hard about it? The talking to people or asking for the sale? And I don't know, it's all hard.
Okay, so you might want to say to these people, like, listen, I totally understand where you need the money. How you got in this situation really doesn't matter, because that's part of what you're dealing with. They're embarrassed. Nobody loves asking for money.
Well, most of these people are more, I want to make it clear, most of these people are not embarrassed. They're excited about the prospect of getting more money for their business.
Okay. Do you know a lot of people are uncomfortable borrowing money?
Not pretty much the circles that I'm running in, because they're all, a lot of them are real estate entrepreneurs, so
Okay.
they're already leveraged.
Okay, so they want the cash.
They need cash for the equity portion of the deal.
Got it. And you can fund them that.
I write the legal paperwork.
So why don't you just tell them point blank, like, hey, I can totally find a way to get you the money. My question is, do you want this to happen fast, or do you want to talk about this for a long time?
Yeah, I could do that.
I would just say something like that. So do you know that the rates fluctuate with time? They're pretty good right now. We could talk about this for 3 more days, and the rates could go up. Would you like to find a way to lock this in?
Yeah.
See what I just did? Speed up the process. Hold that thought for the next little section. Sound good?
Yeah.
Yes. One more here. These are good questions.
You were talking about, your goal is to take them off the path they're on and get them on the path you want
Yep.
them to be on. How do you do that with like direct response marketing? If I have Facebook ads, I don't really know exactly what path they're on. How do I find out?
What's the path you want them on?
I want them to, like in this example,
Give me a product.
There are these leg bands for women that help them build a bigger butt, basically. And
Used to be small butt, now it's a big butt.
yeah, so
Got
the
it.
hard part is like getting their skepticism away from, because they don't understand how it works, what it is. They think it's a gimmick. They don't understand that it's backed by science. So it's like, how do you figure out what path they're on and get
Well,
them
we
on that
know
path?
they've tried something before. You're not their first date.
Yep.
You're not their first experience. And they've tried things that have not worked, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So do you tell them that?
No.
Why don't you start in the conversation that they're already having?
That's a good point. I like that.
Yeah, this is stuff like that. That's not even like saying, I would say that's something Ryan would say. So meet them in where they're already at. Say, odds are I'm not your first date, and you've tried things like this before.
Yep.
Okay? What I'd like to be is your final date, and I'd like to have a relationship where this works long term.
That's good.
And because our clients that have a relationship with us, the ones that have made this work. Now you're talking to women about relationship. You're bringing in a word that has nothing to do with the product. Do you see this?
Mm-hmm.
You're tying the two together. But get back to me in a minute. I'll talk to you more about that. Okay. All right. Is anything else major? If not, and Therese, you can bring that up. Up, yes. Okay. So a little too much. Okay. So what is influence? The capacity to have an effect on the character development or behavior of someone or something else, says Google. Okay? So it is the ability to have the capacity to have an effect on the character development or behavior of someone else or something else. So our job is to affect the behavior of this other person in a way that actually gets them to do something different than they're currently doing. So our whole idea of influence is to actually affect the actual person. If you affect the person in the way they think and feel, they'll make a different reaction. Okay?